Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the BMW X1. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Pleasant Grove BMW for giving me some time with this X1. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions, just ask for Brendan. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 7-speed automatic. Fuel economy is 24 around town and then 33 on the highway, with power outputs being 241 horsepower and then 295 pound-feet of torque. Before I move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, I really like this gray color. It's pretty cool looking. And the headlight design, I think that's pretty spunky too. Notice the grille pops out quite a bit with that silver finish. Then we take a few steps back, you can see it's got that signature BMW design. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 245 by 45 by 19 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see with the wheels, you got the silver with the blacked out trim. I like the fender flare there, that pops out quite a bit with the coloration. You can see more of that silver trim around the windows. And then if we take a few steps back, here's the side profile. Now this of course leads us to the key fob. We have our BMW logo, that's also the lock function. We've got our unlock and then the opening for the hatch, and we'll pop that open. Now popping into the rear, we do have a cargo cover built in from the factory. And the X1 is BMW's smallest SUV, but it's still pretty darn practical. I mean, this is, I'd say, a decent amount of space for 2 people, maybe even 3, that's for sure. When you're all done, just press that and that will lower the hatch right back down. The taillight design is pretty cool with how that kind of arcs around. See how the rest of the badges, and then if we take a few steps back, there's the rest of the rear. Now popping into the back, you can see that we've got this kind of like softer touch here at the top, and then you've got more nice trim down below. The door handles are pretty cool looking with this. And then here are the seats, perforated all down the center. And then if we take a few steps in, boom. Yeah, decent room for a smaller SUV. Got some vents here, USB ports as well. And then headroom's actually pretty good. Now this leads us up front, and you can see again with all of the soft touch trim with the stitching, same thing down below. We've got all of our window controls here. Mirror adjustments, the mirrors do power fold in. Got our memory seat function, blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And then here's the front seat, perforated all down the center portion. All of our power adjustments there on the side. I like the pedals. I think that's pretty cool looking. And you got nice trim here on the dash too. Now take a look at the steering wheel. You guys can see soft touch trim all around. Got some practical controls here on the front, including for like our cruise control, for example, phone controls as well. Regular stocks there on the back, and then we do have a digital gauge cluster here in the center, which is pretty cool. And if you actually change the modes, it'll change how the gauge cluster kind of looks, so that's kind of fun. Just a regular backup camera in reverse, trajectory lines turn with the steering wheel, good resolution with the system on top of that. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, quick response time for the most part with the screen, as you can see. So easy enough to use. The climate controls are integrated into the screen. We also have heated seats and a heated steering wheel as well with this package. Nice trim all across the dash with like the stitching that goes across, and that's very bright, but it looks cool. More vent action down below. You can see this kind of little charging area is what we'll call it, with the cup holders, and then you got more USB ports there. And tons of storage underneath because it's like a floating center console design. Interesting for the transmission select, and then also the engine stop start. That's your drive modes and all of that. And then you see with the volume control too. That is interesting for the box. Very small, but I mean it's okay because the storage down below is big. And then yeah, pretty good storage space in the glove box too. Camera rear view mirror, and then we've got a little interesting texture on the sun visor. But anyways, panoramic center. So here's the window sticker. You guys can see 2025 X1. Total MSRP is $47,815 on this particular one. And let's see how it performs. us set off in this X1, the affordable BMW. And the average luxury car is over 60 grand, and so this is more affordable than the average luxury car. This is actually the same price as the average brand new car. Luxury or non-luxury. Oh, sorry. Non-luxury average price is 44. This is 47. It's a little bit more expensive than the average non-luxury, but in terms of just the average car period, yeah, 47 is right there. So what I'll say right off the bat, suspension's pretty good for a smaller crossover. And you got to remember, this isn't the M Sport version. They've got an M Sport that's got more horsepower, same torque but more horsepower. Still, this is quite impressive. Smooth indeed. I was a little bit worried about the transmission because, you know, the ZF8 speed that BMW uses in most of their cars is such a good transmission. It's like, why use something different? But, you know, this actually seems to handle pretty well. Not too shabby, if you ask me. Yeah, I like the ride. Not as luxury. Like, I just drove an X6 before this. That was definitely a lot smoother, a lot more luxury, but much bigger, much more expensive vehicle. So you'd hope so, right? But either way, performs well. And the torque delivery is really, really smooth. So I think that's another plus. And it even does well with a little bump there. So far, pretty impressive. And the fuel range shows that it's got over 400 miles with a tank. That's also something that I like. Oh, let's get a little acceleration here. Not too bad. It is a 4-cylinder, but not too bad. Not too bad. Pop back into personal mode. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it drives well. To sum things up with the BMW X1, I think it's a great entry-level luxury SUV. So something to note is this isn't going to be like full-blown luxury, like what you would see with, you know, that X6 that I just reviewed, for example. It's got massaging seats, really comfortable suspension, like everything's dialed in, but you'd hope so because that car's over $100,000. But you know, you get the BMW looks, you get the BMW performance, you get like a lot of the BMW stuff you get from the higher end BMWs at a much lower price point. So I think it's cool packaging. It's got a nice interior, and you know, something this nice that doesn't break the bank. I think that's cool. I think that we need more of this on the car market. So let me know what you guys think about the X1, but you know, as an entry-level luxury SUV, I think that BMW has done a really good job with this X1.